right, let's jump to this mock draft now. You recently dropped a mock draft for PFF.com. That's what everyone wants right now. We had this conversation recently. Mock drafts, you know that quote in Wedding Crashers? Maybe Quinn could play it for us in the podcast, but that quote where he's like, sailing's like sex to these people. They love it. That's what mock drafts are to people. You know what I mean? Like, people love mock drafts. And we're going to go ahead with this one from you. Number one, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking quarterback Trevor Lawrence of Clemson. I haven't seen that, which is crazy. It's a surprise pick for sure.
I'm a hot take artist now.
I like that. I
sold out for clicks.
New York Jets at 2 take Zach Wilson. Miami Dolphins at 3 take Penei Sewell of Oregon, the offensive tackle. Carolina Panthers trade up in this mock draft, up to number 4. Take the Atlanta Falcons number 4 pick and take quarterback Justin Fields, who in other mock drafts from Kuiper, McShay, and I think even Jeremiah, we've seen Fields fall outside the top 10. They come up and grab him at 4. That leaves the Bengals with Jamar Chase at 5. Let's talk. I think those first 3 picks, I've seen those a lot. I don't know how much I want to talk about them.
I just want to say this about Penei Sewell and the Dolphins. No one's going to pass. I don't think a team's going to pass on Penei Sewell for a different positional player. You can pass on for a quarterback. I don't foresee anyone passing on Penei Sewell for another positional player. He's like Chase Young in that regard, where it's just like, I don't care if you got Ryan Kerrigan and Montez Sweat, a guy you just drafted in the first round. You're going to draft Chase Young. I don't care if you have Ryan Ramczyk and Teron Armstead. You're going to draft Penei Sewell. He's that good.
I don't care if you have Juwan James and Austin Jackson. You're going to draft Penei Sewell.
They don't have Juwan James either. But
I thought they had Juwan James. Oh, that was Denver. Sorry, he went to Denver. I'm stupid.
Buddy. No,
who's their right tackle?
Robert Hunt. So I don't care definitely don't care if you have Robert. No, but Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, probably can move Hunt inside. You drafted Penei Sewell. He's that good. Okay, there's my take.
At 4, let's talk about this trade a little bit.
Now, maybe a little ridiculous because divisional trades, teams don't do that. I don't know why. It shouldn't bother you to steal other teams' picks if they're that desperate to go get a quarterback. Whatever. Let them get the quarterback. Like, be confident in your own ability.
Plus, you're not trading players in this situation.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit different.
I don't think that should be a big deal. Maybe teams in their front offices feel otherwise. But again, I don't think it should be a big deal. But the Panthers, I just think they don't want that. You saw the report that they offered up Teddy Bridgewater to the Lions. Definitely some buyer's remorse there. They have the talent offensively to be much better than the 22nd or something ranked scoring offense, whatever they were. They were a below average offense with objectively above average, well above average skill positions and a good enough offensive line that you can operate behind. Teddy Bridgewater, 66.4 passing grade. You just can do better than Teddy Bridgewater. You got to set your sights higher, especially in that division. So Justin Fields, I think that's who they're going to go attack.
I like them taking a quarterback in this class, whether they trade up and go grab Fields or stay put and maybe swing the bat on Lance, even though Lance could even go in the top 5 themselves. I think they can't afford to go into next year because here's why. I think here's a good reason why they should. If they go in with Teddy Bridgewater again, I think they're going to again be picking between like 8 and 12. Like Teddy Bridgewater's not, and that roster is not going to take you into top 3 territory. And quarterback purgatory is the worst place to be in the NFL. When they signed Teddy Bridgewater, I said that. You're putting yourself in this position where you're never going to be in a prime position to get a top 2, top 3 quarterback prospect. And not every draft, there's 3 guys like this. There's 4 guys that you take in the top 5. Next year, I don't know if we'll see that. We'll see. But if they start Teddy Bridgewater next year, in addition to not developing a young rookie quarterback, you're going to again be drafting in that tier of like 8 to 12, 8 to 14. Maybe they make the postseason like the football team and be in an even worse spot. Like that is the concern I have with Teddy B.
Yeah, the Bridgewater move, at the time, I said it, this is like objectively the worst move you could make as the Panthers because you're not ready and you're going for a guy who's just limited. Like nothing about his game ever said top 5-10 quarterback in the NFL. It's like the move that the Bears should have made was go get Teddy Bridgewater with how good your defense is, how good your skill position is. You could maybe like sneak into the playoffs.
They also changed the entire coaching staff. Like that, it was going to be very difficult to win with Teddy B.
That's what, like that move just made no sense. You were a team that was primed to get a top 3-4 pick, get in on the quarterback class. But then you won too many games, and now you're going to have to trade up.
They should have started Will Grier the entire season, like honestly. And like if he completely...
Will Grier gets you Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
And fulfills his destiny.
Yes. And that's what you want. I was on a Patriots podcast recently, and they were talking about, about the Mac Jones, or should they trade up and go get a quarterback? And we had this conversation about bridge quarterbacks. Well, don't you need to go make a move for like a bridge quarterback before the next guy? You don't bring your bridge quarterback in until you have a developing rookie. Like you don't. Teddy Bridgewater is a great bridge quarterback to who? Like you don't have someone developing. Is it Will Grier? Then you should have started him.
No, that was it was just a bad decision. I think that's why they ended up firing Hurney. Probably was his call.
Tough, man. Tough. All right. Bengals take Jamar Chase with Penei Sewell off the board. Let's get to the next picks. Philadelphia Eagles take Devontae Smith of Alabama at 6. That's a very common pick these days. Denver Broncos come up and go get Trey Lance. They trade up with the Detroit Lions at 7. Go get Trey Lance. At 8, the Atlanta Falcons coming down from 4. Take Kyle Pitts. Woo, I love that. That is one of my favorite picks I've seen you mock. 9, the Detroit Lions coming down from Denver or with Denver. Take linebacker Micah Parsons of Penn State. And at 10, Caleb Farley of Virginia Tech to the Dallas Cowboys. Let's start at the Denver Broncos coming up for Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. A lot of the reports I've seen are that they're confident in Drew Lock, but want to bring in a veteran to compete. I've heard Gardner Minshew as a name, which is like absurd. Do you think this is a way better decision? And obviously you do, but like, what's your take on Trey Lance to Denver?
Yeah, the Lance is interesting because I feel like the Eagles would be in that mix if he didn't go to North Dakota State.
Stop. You think they're that crazy? Really?
I'm just saying, like, you had a quarterback who went to North Dakota State, you're going to trade him away. Fans are just going to be like, not another North Dakota State guy. That's immediately what
it's going to happen. But
that wasn't quite my
a multi-million-dollar franchise can't let same helmet scouting fans affect what they make at number 6, which is again another multi-million-dollar decision.
Yeah. Philly hates everybody though. They could draft Jesus and they'd be like, "Oh, this guy's what are we doing?
I haven't seen enough tape." Go ahead. So talk more about.
But I just think they're the most intriguing team to me right now because Roseman's no dummy about positional value. That's we know for certain. He's always coveted the valuable positions: wide receiver, tackle, defensive end, corner. That's what he's kind of gone at in the draft wise. So quarterback would be on, like he made the play to get Wentz. Like he made that massive play to go get Wentz. Do they make the similar play to go? Are they like the ones convincing the Jets, hey, no, you want Darnold. Like you want to ride with him. Trust me. This is the year. We'll go take Zach Wilson. No big deal. Possibly. They're, to me, the biggest wild card in this draft because of that, because they have a history of that. But in this one, like I said, Trey Lance on the board. I think he makes a lot of sense to the Denver Broncos. Cannon for an arm. Not a guy year one. Like he's going to come in. Drew Lock's going to get a shot. Like you get to keep Drew Lock. You get to give him that other year that so many Broncos fans, or not so many, some Broncos fans are still holding out hope that he could be that guy. And that's fine. Lance gets to sit a year on the bench and see what not to do. Kind of like you with your dad. He gets to say, hey, this is how I don't play the game of football. Then he comes in year 2 and Lance balls. I think that's where I would like to go.
I honestly think this is an ideal situation for Denver because I think I agree that I think there's even some parts of the front office that want to give Drew Lock another opportunity with this young receiving core, this offense, whatever. You get to do that with Trey Lance. Trey Lance has only played one game over the past like 12 plus months. You're not going to start him week 1, but you do have him as that developmental piece behind Drew Lock. And if Drew Lock tanks, you're in a good position to give Trey Lance some opportunities or let him tank for 16 games and get a higher draft pick and then fit Lance with some weapons going into 2022. Here's the thing, though. If they go with this strategy, I hope the front office lets them know, and Vic Fangio lets them know, I am not on the hot seat if you want me to start Drew Lock for 16 games next year. Because some people have asked me, asked me about Fangio and why hasn't he been fired. It's like, are you serious? This guy should not be on the hot seat. He's working with bad parts. Like this quarterback has not played well. Yeah. Drew Lock is on the hot seat. There are people who want Fangio out of Denver more than they want Drew Lock out of Denver. And I just can't get on board with that. I can't.
They lost their best defensive player, and they still had one of the best defenses. Like
they had shambles in the secondary and still were one of the more productive secondaries.
Bouye and Von Miller, or like Bouye barely played. And you still had lights out defense because Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive coordinators. Like, you can scheme.
If Denver lets Fangio get out of there, man, I would be floored. Like, they let Drew Lock tank them into like 3 or 4 wins, and then they leave on I would hate to see that. I really would. All right, let's jump to one of my favorite picks here. Kyle Pitts to Atlanta. There are going to be some people who are like, you got Ridley, you got Julio. No, I said this again. I said this before, I'll say it again. There is not a single team in the NFL with enough weapons to pass on Kyle Pitts, specifically at 8 overall. I've said that with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say that with the Atlanta Falcons. I really do think Kyle Pitts is a monster coming to Atlanta. I love this fit.
Yeah, in terms of rarity of skill set, like he's more rare than any of these receivers. He's rarer. One of those two. More rare than all these receivers. Rarity of skill set, like him, he's right up there with Sewell and Parsons. he may be the most rare of those guys coming out. Like, you don't see guys who he's probably going to be up to about 250 by draft time who just move the way he does and have his receiving ability. I can't remember the last guy to come out that is as good as he is as a tight end prospect. Like, Kelsey obviously has developed over time. Gronk was a different type of tight end. Waller developed over time. Kittle was, barely even utilized in that offense. Pitts, you've seen it all already. Seen all the things that you could want that translate to the NFL as a receiver. And he's much improved as a blocker to actually have people respect him as an inline blocker. Yeah, I mean, Cal Pitts, he's dude. If you're the Falcons, that could take you to another level offensively.
Parsons to Detroit, I also really like.
Chris Spielman, dude. That's just it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just chalking up right now.
Caleb Farley to Dallas at 10. Let's get to the next picks, though. 11, you have the New York Giants taking Patrick Surtain, the second of Alabama. San Francisco 49ers grab Kwity Paye of Michigan, the edge defender. Los Angeles Chargers, Rashawn Slater of Northwestern, the offensive tackle. Could play guard, too. And then Minnesota Vikings, defensive tackle Christian Barmore of Alabama at 14. And then the New England Patriots, not Mac Jones, wide receiver Jalen Waddle of Alabama at 15. Let's start there, because I've had a lot of conversations about Mac Jones, the Patriots at 15.
Yeah.
You've said this before, and I'm going to echo it. Set your sights higher. Mac Jones, I think the ceiling for Mac Jones is he plays to the level of a Kirk Cousins on his rookie deal. And then on his rookie deal, the team can build around him to a point where you can compete for a Super Bowl. Not necessarily be a favorite for one, but compete for one. The New England Patriots roster is bad, defensively and offensively.
But worst receiving core in the NFL.
Worst receiving core in the NFL. The defense is old. They're going to be losing some guys. They might trade away Stephon Gilmore. You're better off starting Jarrett Stidham. Don't get a bridge quarterback. Just screw the bridge quarterback.
Again, yeah.
You're better off starting Jarrett Stidham and getting Jalen Waddle here, letting him develop with Stidham, whatever that looks like, and then drafting one or two next year and grabbing Rattler or Howell, whoever it may be. They should have tanked this year. Instead they go for Cam Newton. They try and push. I think this is an interesting conversation. Bill Belichick legacy has been in the conversation lately, with Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl without him. Some people are calling him overrated. I heard Gary Vee on Clubhouse, which is a new audio platform, new social media platform, talk about how Bill Belichick could go down as one of the more overrated coaches in NFL history if Tom Brady wins 2 or 3 Super Bowls without him. And I think that's eating at Bill Belichick a little bit. You know how much of a competitor Bill Belichick is? I think you could tell Bill Belichick, hey, the best opportunity for you to get back to a Super Bowl is for you to lose 16 games this season. Say they told that in 2020. He's not doing it. He is a guy that thinks he can win without a good quarterback. He thinks he's built his team to be quarterback proof. It's why he's won so many times when Tom Brady was hurt, why he went 11 wins with Matt Castle. But that's not the case when your roster is as bad as it is now. Maybe he could win with a Cam Newton with a better roster, but it's bad. This New England Patriots team is in such a bad spot from a roster perspective that grabbing Mac Jones and trying to win with him is just not the shortest path to another Super Bowl. The shortest path, I think, is tanking in 2021, letting Stidham develop, and then hopefully grabbing one of the top quarterback prospects next year.
That's the thing. If you're drafting a QB here, you're not recognizing where you're at as a roster.
Yes.
You're bad. It's not a good roster. They were not built to you're not going to compete for Super Bowls with that roster, and your best players are old, because here, just let me read off their first top 3 round picks from 2015 on. These are the guys they drafted in the first 3 rounds.
I'm ready.
Malcolm Brown, defensive tackle. Jordan Richards, safety. Genio Grissom, defensive end. Cyrus Jones, cornerback. Joe Tooney, guard. Jacoby Brissett, Vincent Valentine, defensive tackle. Derek Rivers, defensive end. Antonio Garcia, tackle. Isaiah Wynn, tackle. Sony Michel, obviously running back. Duke Dawson, cornerback. N'Keal Harry, wide receiver. Juwan Williams, cornerback. Chase Winovich, defensive end. Damian Harris, running back. Yadni Kajus, tackle. And then this past year, Kyle Duggar, safety. Josh Uche, outside linebacker. Anthony Jennings, linebacker. Devin Asiasi and Dalton Keene, tight ends. That's one of the worst draft histories over that span, or worst drafting histories over that span of any franchise in the NFL. That's awful. That's why you are where you are if you're the Patriots, because you hit on what? 2 quality starters over that span in Isaiah Wynn, Joe Tooney, and you hit on maybe one more guy who's borderline that, and Chase Winovich. That's about it at this point. You have not gotten impact players from your top picks. And when you don't get impact players from your top picks, the base of your roster just erodes, because there's only so long you can rely on those guys on their second contracts before it gets too expensive. And you kind of did what we saw last year, where Brady was obviously too expensive for them. They moved on. Don't have a great backup plan. Tried to win with Cam Newton, but they shouldn't have because they weren't good enough.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to, because there is the argument like, well, let's develop a quarterback in this class. Don't take him at 15. You're better off taking Jamie Newman, Kellen Mond, or Felipe Franks on day 2, day 3, and developing guys with like legitimate like arm talent, right?
I don't believe in necessarily developmental quarterbacks. I believe in trading up. If you're going to get a quarterback and not waiting, go up and get the guy. But again, Mac Jones, you can set your sights higher than Mac Jones.
But going up and getting a guy for the Patriots, because that's another part of the conversation.
Day 2 is where you need to build more starters. That's where like they need to hit on depth in this on that roster. So
I don't think the roster's in a position though where you'd feel confident trading up to go get even Fields or Wilson or Lance, because like even when you trade all that capital to go get him, he's going to be in a situation where there's not a lot of talent around him, and that again is concerning. This is not where you want to be as Patriots fans, and I know we're talking to Patriots fans right now. This is hard. This is a tough pill to swallow. You're not going to be good for a couple seasons after dominating the NFL for 18 plus years. And I'm telling you right now, it's like I know a lot of Raiders fans. I'm from Oakland, California. If you told Raiders fans, hey, you need to tank before you can get to the playoffs again, like, dude, they'd be signing up for it. Like, oh, 2-win seasons, we're all about it. We've been there. But Patriots fans, and Belichick included, it's like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, this is a weird place to be. Like, well, meanwhile, like other franchises are like, dude, I'll tank any one season to go get a top quarterback and try and turn this thing around.
And it's not just like tanking. Like you don't have to intentionally like do what the Jaguars did and really like sell off all your top pieces. It's more just recognizing where you're at as a roster.
Yeah.
The other interesting picks I wanted to hit on here. One, the quid he paid to 49ers. Just John Lynch has committed to investing in the defensive line at all costs over the course of his tenure there. So I don't think that changes. Like I don't think the strategy necessarily changes there. They want that as a cornerstone of their defense, and everything builds off of that. So I could very much see them being the first team to dip into the edge class. And the Minnesota Vikings, I know everyone wants edge for them. Greg Rousseau has probably been in a zillion mocks to them for good reason. But I think defensive tackle is the scarcer position in this draft class. You won't find a guy close to Christian Barmore's skill set in the second round. You just won't. He's that good. He's in a class of his own, this defensive tackle class. It's not even really particularly close. There might not be another guy that is even a competent pass rusher drafted in this defensive tackle class. It's just not good. Barmore, though, what he did against Notre Dame, what he did against Ohio State. She's special. He's special. I would not be passing on him at 14.
Alrighty, let's jump to the next few picks here. At 16, Arizona Cardinals take Christian Darrisaw of Virginia Tech. At 17, the Las Vegas Raiders grab Nick Bolton, linebacker, Missouri. 18, Miami Dolphins grab linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah of Notre Dame. At 19, Washington football team grabs tackle Elijah Vera Tucker of USC. And at 20, big riser here, the Chicago Bears grab North Dakota State tackle Dylan Radins. Let's start there. Radins, big Senior Bowl week. You like him at 20. He could be going high. You like this? Is this his ceiling in this mock or in the first round? Do you think he goes higher than 20?
I don't know. I mean, Jim Nagy had him over Penei Sewell heading into the season. True. So Nagy's been banging the table for him going super high. I think it's kind of with the depth of the tackle class, teams that are drafting in the top 10 to 12 will be like, hey, I can get one in the second round. I can get Liam Eichenberg if need be. Let me go elsewhere. So I do think that's why there's 3 just came off the board from 16 to 20 there. I think that's where you start to see guys, some of this tackle class come off the board. And I wouldn't be surprised if Radins like jumps like Vera Tucker or Darrisaw in this class.
I thought that was high for Vera Tucker too.
He's that level of athlete. Like he's an explosive offensive tackle that, like was it Tristan Wirfs said broad jump translates. I bet he has good broad jump, but he's gonna have a pretty good one.
Explain to me Raiders taking Bolton over JOK from Notre Dame.
This one's reading Mike Mayock, the tea leaves here.
Love it.
What has Mayock done? Veteran, experienced guys, leaders.
Hard nose.
Tone setters.
First in, last out.
Gritty.
Although
that was not
lunch pail.
What's his face? Ohio State. Damon Arnett. That was not Damon Arnett.
No.
But all the other ones.
He was first out.
Yeah. All the other ones, that type. Hasn't worked out, but this good news, Bolton's actually good and that type. So
I like it.
And fills the need of linebacker, which has just been, that.
I still think they're getting into the edge class. I think they're going to grab a Rousseau or an Owe or a Pay. Everyone's mocking linebacker to them. Bradley knows that this defense doesn't work unless I get some pass rushing help. And I think while there are projects in this class, like I think it's too good at 17 to pass on like a Rousseau or an Oweh here. I think linebacker would be a foolish move.
I kind of agree.
All right, let's go to 21. Indianapolis Colts grab the guy who's going to be on the podcast later, edge defender Gregor Rousseau of Miami. At 22,
did you ask him how much he weighed? How much does he weigh now?
He said he's close to 260 or something.
How long are his arms?
I didn't ask him how long his arms were. Okay, I don't think he's measured that yet. His pro day, I think, is at the back end of March. Okay. We're going to be ready for it. All right. He did say he had some really good things to say about Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
He said he watched every Miami game this year, and he wore the 15. I would
hope.
What do you mean you would hope?
The guy played there.
I mean, sometimes he's working. Okay, some people are grinding. Okay, he can't always afford to like leisurely watch a game. Okay, that guy said he's in the best shape of his life. He's been working out like 5 times a day.
I would also hope.
Yeah, so fair enough. Fair enough. All right. 22, Tennessee Titans take Elijah Moore of Ole Miss, who we will be having on the podcast on Wednesday. And then New York Jets, we have cornerback J.C. Horn of South Carolina. Pittsburgh Steelers grab linebacker Zaven Collins of Tulsa. And then that's a fit. It's just too good. Zaven Collins to Pittsburgh is awesome.
Last pod.
And Jacksonville Jaguars take safety Trayvon Moehrig of TCU. I have a take on the safety class that I want to bring up. But are too many people forgetting about Javen Holland of Oregon? I didn't play this year. Former 5-star from Oakland, Bishop O'Dowd High School.
Oh, okay.
The dude moves so well. I think
he's smooth. I don't think he's an explosive athlete though.
He's smooth though.
Yeah,
he's smooth, and good. I think he's got. I love what he did in the slot for them. I think Javen Holland is going to get slept on a little bit because he didn't play this past year, and you're going to see him legit like as a 2nd-round pick, maybe back into the 2nd-round pick, like take off for a team. I think he could have a legit impact as a 2nd-round player.
Bring it.
I had to bring it up. I was watching. I was watching more of the class, and I like forgot about him. I mean, it's easy to you're watching so much 2020 tape. You turn back on the 2019 tape. There's a handful of plays. You turn on the Stanford game.
I just don't think he's quite the athlete of the other top.
We'll see come pro day, dog. All right, let's talk more about these picks. Zaven Collins to Pittsburgh is awesome. I like J.C. Horn as high as 23 to the New York Jets. Yeah. Elijah Moore over Kadarius Toney, over Rondale Moore, over Rashad Bateman. You got Elijah Moore going high to the Tennessee Titans of all teams.
I think, and I mean, it's because of kind of what he did versus some J.C. Horn this past year. Like he can get,
dude, he got J.C. Horn a little bit.
Like he can get open, and I don't think he's just a slot. Like he played the slot there, but I don't think he is. Like I think he has good enough ball skills, can get off press coverage. I think this guy is your number 2 option with A.J. Brown that can. They're going to need someone there. Honestly, I think they need someone who's like a little faster than even Corey Davis because with the way that offense operates, going down the field, like it is attacking the intermediate and deep levels of the football field. And if you don't have someone else with some speed, teams can put their attention towards A.J. Brown because it is a lot of 2 wide receiver stuff there. So I think Elijah Moore would be a good fit specifically for the Titans and what they want to do.
All right, let's speed through the next few picks here because we got to do our hashtag fun to watch list.
Yeah.
All right, 26, Cleveland Browns grab Jason Oweh of Penn State. Baltimore Ravens edge defender Azeez Ojulari of Georgia, who we had, I believe, on the Thursday or Wednesday episode of Tier 4 and Drafts. Go back and check that out. At 28, we have Mac Jones of Alabama going to the New Orleans Saints. 29, Green Bay Packers finally grabbed their first-round receiver. It's Rondale Moore of Purdue. Buffalo Bills grab tackle Taven Jenkins of Oklahoma State, who the more I watch this film, that guy's a Gruden grinder, a lunch pail type that I think a lot of teams will really like.
Is he on fun to watch rankings?
He is not in my fun to watch rankings, but he probably should have been. I have another tackle, though, that I think is also very fun to watch. Carlos Basham Jr. of Wake Forest to the Kansas City Chiefs at 31. And then the Buccaneers, this is my least favorite pick in the mock. Running back Najee Harris of Alabama. Jason Licht is not making this mistake. Okay, and I like Najee Harris, great running back.
He did draft a kicker in the 2nd round. So
fair,
never say never.
Fair, but I mean, this is just so much. Rashad Bateman's still on the board,
but I think he learned his lesson after that.
Kadarius Toney's still on the board.
What was I doing?
With Chris Godwin and Rob Gronkowski and Antonio Brown all hitting the free agent market, maybe don't bring all those guys back. I think you have to go pass catcher here, especially with how this mock fell out. Bateman is still on the board. I'm taking Bateman at 32.
Tyler Johnson, dude. Tyler Johnson can ball.
I know Tyler Johnson can ball.
Najee Harris, I mean, he's a legitimate upgrade over the running back group, though. They run the ball. They fucking run the ball a lot. And when you run the ball a lot, we always, say, hey, you don't want to invest in a running back because we don't want you to invest in a running game. The Bucs aren't going to change. Bruce Arians, Tiger ain't changing his stripes at this point in his career.
You don't believe in Super Bowl Lenny?
God, no. Dude, that touchdown was like a straight line. I could have had that one touchdown. Right?
Wow. The playoff Lenny slander / Super Bowl Lenny slander is uncalled for.
But also free agent. So.
Unnecessary.
The other interesting ones here, in my opinion, Jason Elway, the 0 sacks. I don't think that's going to move the needle for the Browns. They're smarter analytically than that to say, 0 sacks. You can't sack the quarterback. No, it's not how it works.
He's also gifted athlete. That guy is insane.
Yes. Monster. Mac Jones, the Saints, there's a team and an offense that Mac Jones could excel in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like that, the way Sean Payton dials it up, which I've come around to the term dials it up this year. Love dials it up.
I hate it.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I like it.
Dials it up. That's Mac Jones. That's what he does best. Not all offenses in the NFL are going to dial it up for Mac Jones that way. Sean Payton will dial it up. So I love that fit. And then last one, Carlos Basham. Chiefs got to go edge. Pass rush has to get better. Lowest ranked edge pass rushing group in the NFL this past season.
Man, that's rough.
It's tough.
Basham Jr. at 31 too, I think is good value.